Okay, today we're going to talk about judging. So particularly I'm interested in showing you how to do the 4-H judging contest. So there's different classes that you judge. In horticulture you can be judging fruits or vegetables, trees, ornamental plants. So today we're going to do a fruit, a vegetable, and an ornamental plant. All right, so there's two purposes of judging. One is if you're the person who grew the produce or the ornamental plant, you want to put your best foot forward. So you want to pick a plant that is uniform, or a collection of fruits that are uniform, that are consistent, that have the same color, the same shape. They have, the stems cut to the proper length. And above all, you want to make sure that you're entering the Red Delicious apples in the Red Delicious apples category, not in the pears or something, all right? Because then you'll get disqualified immediately. As the person who's judging, you're looking for not only does it look uniform and consistent and stuff, but also would it be something that you would buy to take home? Because the ultimate purpose of this is to show you what to look for when you're spending your own money. Okay, so the first class we're going to do today is Red Delicious apples. So we have 4 plates, which is what you will usually get is 4 specimens of something. And then they have a number in front of them, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And that's the number that you will use when you're referring to the plate. And usually they'll be on a white plate so you can see the characteristics and the qualities of the produce best. All right, so when you place them, you look for the most ideal and the least ideal. It's not whether it's good or bad, it's how ideal it is within the class itself. So let's look at each plate one at a time. All right, so here we have 3 apples. The coloration is pretty consistent. It has stems that are about the same length, although this, if you had a similar plate of apples, then this one that has the little fungus or something on the end would rate it down. But the person who put it on the plate could have trimmed that and it still would have been the same length of stem as everyone else and it wouldn't be detracting from the quality. All right, this plate of apples is a little bit of difference in sizes, definitely difference in coloration. And if you look closely on the front of this apple, there's some damage. Now, so if you were going to eat that apple, you probably wouldn't actually eat that apple. So in this plate, I would say only 2 of those apples would be something that anybody would buy. All right, the third plate has apples that are not quite the same size. This one's even got a weird shape to it. They're not the same colors, and these 2 don't have stems, whereas that one does. So they're all good to eat, but they're not uniform in any way. This plate of apples, consistent size, pretty consistent color. They all have their stems. They all could be eaten. So if you were gonna spend your money, that would be an okay plate of apples. All right, so looking at all of them, after you've looked at all of them, your next step is to pick the apples that you think would be the best to buy. So which ones are the most consistent, the most uniform? Which one do you think? I would say plate number 4. All right, these are the most consistent and pretty healthy apples. So what you do is you take your pen and you're gonna put 4 numbers here in the order from most ideal to least ideal. So in this first place, we're gonna put a 4. All right, now the easiest way I found to do the next 3 is to pick the one I think is the least ideal. So I would say the least ideal would be the one that has the cut, because then you have only 2 apples that you're really gonna eat out of 3. So I would put 2 as the last place. Okay, so that leaves plates 1 and 3 for the runoff. Now, which one is better? 3 isn't very consistent. You've got 2 non-stems, 1 stem. The shapes are all different. 1, they're really consistent except for a little bit of difference in shape. So I would put 1 over 3. So, all right, so your placing for this class is 4, 1, 3, 2. Now, what you turn into the judge is you get a judging card, a placing card that looks like this. At the top you have your contestant number. So our contestant number is team 4, individual 1, so 4-1. The class is apples. And our selection was 4, 1, 3, 2. So we look down here and see which one of these is 4, 1, 3, 2. And we put an X by the 4, 1, 3, 2. So our answer, so to speak, is T. And then depending on how off you are, there's scores that are given as cuts between the first and second and third and fourth place. So depending on how similar yours is to the judge, if you just flip 2 and you say 4, 1, 2, 3, that'll give you a less penalty than if you said 1, 2, 3, 4 and you're way off. So the less mistakes you make, the higher your points. All right, so let's go to another class. We'll go to vegetables and we'll do green beans. So with green beans or anything like okra or jalapenos, what you want is you want consistent length. You want it to be ready to eat right now. You don't want it to be like underripe or overripe. And you want it to, if you're gonna display them nicely, you'll have a little bit of the stem left over. So like right here and right here. And again, you want to be consistent. So like this one doesn't have the little stem left. This is a really weird shape, so that's not exactly uniform. And a couple have their stems and 3 don't. And these all have their stems, but if you were gonna buy green beans, that's not much for your money, all right? So looking at all of them, looking at their defects, like here's one that you would probably break off that end and just have half a bean, all right? So even though like these look really pretty and they're pretty much the same size, I would put them last because even though they look nice, they're just not as full as the other beans and you're not gonna buy these. So I would put 1 as last. Now, first place won't be this because it's got a defect. I would say this one because they all have stems. They're all pretty meaty, so to speak, and they're all pretty uniform. So I would give this one the first place. So that's a 3. And that leaves 2 and 4 to look at. All right, so 2 and 4, this you actually get 5 beans that are pretty good size. Even though the shape's kind of weird, it's still gonna eat fine. This one, it's a little less meaty, so to speak, but you're only gonna get a half bean out of that. So I would put 2 over 4. Okay, so our final placing is 3, 2, 4, 1. So we come over here and our contestant number is 4, 1. Our class is green beans. And we placed it 3, 2, 4, 1. So now that's our choice is P for this class. You want to make sure that you have your contestant number on here, because if you don't, we have no idea what team and what individual to put the score for. You also want to put the class, because you're generally doing 3 classes, and if you just turn in 3 cards with your number and no identification as to what you're judging, we're just going to have to guess which one went with what, and it's probably not going to be right. All right, we'll do another class, because typically you judge 3 classes. This one will be ornamentals. So these are little euonymus shrubs. And you want, when you're looking at shrubs, you look at, again, what you take home today. So without having to do anything to them. You're looking for compactness, you're looking for symmetry, you're looking for health. So judging on all this, this one's pretty symmetrical, nice, compact, and rounded. This one isn't so compact and rounded and symmetrical, but it's still a healthy, full plant. This one has some little dead areas, which you could trim out, but you'd also have to shape the plant because it's like less tall here, more tall here, so it's not exactly uniform. You'd have to do some serious trimming on that. This one is all over the place. It's got low areas, it's got tall areas, it's not symmetrical, it's kind of got a triangle shape. Now all of these could be trimmed, so you're not going to waste money, but which ones you could take right out and plant into the garden or into your landscape. The best one, I would say, is number 1. Because it's already ready to go into the garden. It's compact, it's uniform, it's symmetrical. So I would say number 1 is the best. All right, the one that I would choose last, just as they are right now, would be number 3, because it's got some dead spots. So I don't know if that means that the plant has problems. Maybe it has some kind of parasite that's going to eventually take the rest of the plant. I don't know. As of today, I could trim them out, but I would put 3 as last place for today. All right, so that leaves 2 and 4. This one has high and low areas, but it's more compact. This one has high and low areas, but it's all over the place and would need more trimming. So I would put 2 over 4 in the middle. All right, so this placing we have 1, 2, 4, 3. So again, we're contestant 4-1. We're class, just put shrub. And our placing is 1, 2, 4, 3. So our X would be on the B line. All right, so that is the basics of judging. You figure out the order that you would place them according to how they are right now, according to whether you would buy them to eat, whether it'd be a good deal or not. And then all you turn in is a sheet of paper with a placing card that just has 1 X, and that's all you have to do. So you should be ready, give it a trial run, and we'll see you at the judging contest.